Good evening. Welcome to United View. What's going on, people? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's already that time. Transfer time. It's already all hotting up. I mean, alive in the evening. You don't always get that. Yeah, exactly. Strap yourselves in. Buckle up because it's time. It's time, man. The rumor mill is rumoring. That's what's happening right now. Transfer targets, primary targets. All of it. It's all coming out today. We're going to be talking about Harry Kane. Ten Hag supposedly obsessed with Harry Kane. We're going to talk about Mason Mount. Do you want to see Mason Mount in a Manchester United shirt? Rabiot, there's still interest there. With talks having broke down last year with John Murto. We thought he was just out there drinking sangria because he didn't come back with a player. Right back. Ten Hag wants to reinforce right back as well. So does that mean one of Wan-Bissaka or Dalot goes? So much to get your teeth into this evening. So yes, it's away from the takeover right now. Nothing's gone a bit quiet on that front, and it's transfers. So let's get straight into it, Owen. Harry Kane at the top of the show. I know a lot of you guys don't want Harry Kane, and this will probably be annoying to you, but let's hear what have we got on Harry Kane.
We've got quite a lot, as you mentioned. We're very much in. Today it was announced when the transfer window is going to be opening, and the transfer speculation has already gone into overdrive with United. Certainly very interesting. When it comes to Harry Kane, a big piece has been written by Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, who has said that Manchester United will attempt to smooth negotiations with Tottenham by bidding as quickly as possible for Harry Kane. They will look to make their move early and hope they will come up with enough money to convince Chairman Daniel Levy. Manchester United believes signing Harry Kane could transform them into title contenders, and they intend to test Levy's resolve. Ten Hag is said to be obsessed with Kane. Kane tops Manchester United's striker shortlist that also includes Victor Osimhen, Rasmus Højlund. United are weary of a saga developing and do not want to spend their entire summer chasing Kane. United have been quoted £130 million for Victor Osimhen. They are wary of spending more than £100 million on him, as there is no guarantee of him adjusting to the Premier League. Rasmus Højlund would be seen as one for the future if he moves to United this summer. He is a cheaper option and highly regarded, but there is an acknowledgement he would not be a regular starter next season. Manchester United believe they will need to sign an additional striker if they buy Rasmus Højlund. So that's quite a lot there, Flex, when it comes to all of the sort of striker options. And what is quite interesting too is that kind of has somewhat parroted a little bit what we've kind of been talking about for a while when it comes to these striking options, isn't it? Is that Kane is seemingly the figure that makes a lot of sense in the eyes of certain people, not everyone, but certain people. He might be considered to be somehow more attainable than Victor Osimhen in terms of a price tag. They're saying 130 million for Osimhen. They're saying Kane, they're hoping that maybe 100 might be enough to convince Daniel Levy. 1 year left on his contract. They're open to getting Højlund as well, but if they do get him, they're going to need someone else because he's only 20 years old. And the thing when it comes to Osimhen too is there's no guarantee he's going to adjust to the Premier League. And it's a lot of money to spend on a player that, hey, you don't know if he's going to work in the Premier League. What are your thoughts on all of this? Do you share Ten Hag's obsession with Harry?
Yes, I do, actually. Do you know what? Have I become a little bit obsessed with Harry Kane in this little period where we could get him and he's attainable?
Have you made up your mind which way you want to go, basically?
I have. Again, people think that means you think the other player is rubbish, or you definitely
are you trying to say?
Yeah, I'm taking Kane all day. I don't need to kind of hit home that fact and bore the viewers who don't want to see that. You guys know my standpoint on that. I'm having Kane. I'm going all out for Kane all day. If we could get Osimhen or had enough money to get Osimhen, 100% I would get him. But if you're asking me to pick with where we are right now, 100%. What we've got available, 100% Flex, 100% Owen. I'm going Kane all day. And so to answer your question, I do share the obsession with Harry Kane that Ten Hag supposedly or reportedly holds. And it's interesting with the Højlund kid as well, because let's everyone says let's get him, and no problem, but that he needs supplementing. He's not ready yet. He's not ready. He's not the 21-year-old Haaland that's ready to come in and be that guy. When Haaland was at Dortmund, how old is Haaland now? 22. I think he's 22.
People forget because the guys look like a man.
So young. I know. For ages,
you know what I mean? Exactly. But I believe, he's probably, 22?
He's 22. There you go. He's 22, yeah. So you know, a couple of years ago, or 3 years, when he's at Dortmund just killing it, the guy was like 19, 20, doing what he was doing. Højlund is not that. Like, I know people are saying he could be the next XYZ,
He
but
could.
not. He could be, exactly. He could be, but he's not as good as Haaland at that point. But he's not ready to come in and we put everything on his shoulders and he's our star number 9. He would be perfect. I repeat, perfect, like an Evan Ferguson, to come in underneath Kane, you know, and have in our squad. You know, that would be absolutely perfect. You get rid of Wout Weghorst and Martial, and you bring in Kane and Højlund, or Kane and Ferguson. That is the definition of an upgrade. You know,
Yeah.
saying, you know. So I'm down for it, man. I like this. I like the line of, again, this is hypothetical, but I like the line of we want to go in quick and try and smooth things over, because it's going to be an awful ride with Daniel Levy. You know what to expect. You know what he's going to do. And, you know, it was only a few days ago I was saying what our opinion was, which is both of us agreed that we think Kane and Osimhen will both actually stay. Do I think now, hearing that now, that will change? No, I still think he'll find a way to. I just think he'll stay. I don't know. I just got a feeling he'll stay. They'll take something drastic for me to change my opinion. I think that we will go aggressively for him, though. But I'll say one thing I've maintained: go aggressively for him. Absolutely. Start doing it early. Absolutely. They're good noises to hear. But do not, I repeat, do not get dragged in to a deadline day from now all the way through to deadline day, which is what, September? When was it, Owen?
September the 1st. September the 1st is when the window closes. Kenny Rogers settings: know when to walk away, know when to run. You've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Okay, it's a poker reference, but it's the same. It's the same idea here, isn't it? Is that test the resolve? Certainly, test it early on as well, because then you give Spurs the option to say, look, here's 100 million now. And we're giving you the rest of the summer to figure out whatever you need to figure out. You know, it's not like Anthony last year with Ajax and all this kind of stuff where last day and yeah, you overspend, but you're also then left with no time to reinforce. And make no mistake, if Spurs sell Harry Kane, not that you really can replace him, but you're going to need a striker, and they're going to need other players as well too. And an argument could be made, certainly, with all of this talk about who their next manager or head coach is going to be at Spurs. That's going to be something that they want to know walking through the door, isn't it? Am I going to be managing Harry Kane or not? Because if I'm not, okay, that some people, that might be a reason not to take the job. Frankly, they'd be like, well, I'm not going there. Or it's a case of, okay, I'll still take the job, but do we know where we're going if we don't have Harry Kane? Do we know who we're going to bring in? Do we have those things lined up? So it's in both teams' interest to decide where they want to go with this very early on, isn't it? United, again, make an offer, test the resolve. Not in the case of it's going to be like one offer and it's just, oh yeah, they've accepted it. I don't think Daniel Levy would ever do that.
We might need to do takeover settings, second round of bids, third round of bids. We might have to do that for Kane.
Yeah, exactly. Or it might take a situation where it's like, look, United put that first bid in, 90 million. Spurs turn it down. United know Spurs are going to turn it down, by the way. Yeah. And then Harry Kane goes, wow, that bid was real. Maybe I have a conversation, or maybe I don't come into training, or maybe I do something because
I'm not on the tour.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Something
like that, you know? So I think United will test resolve. Like you, do I really believe this is one that's going to happen? I believe this one is more likely than Victor Osimhen to Manchester United. I'll put it that way.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. I still haven't seen enough. I'm not going to get excited over one kind of decent piece that claims that saying that we're going to, you know, go in strong and test the resolve and smooth things over and go aggressively for him and Ten Hag's obsessed. I'm not going to completely lose my mind before the window's even open and go, oh, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I think actually we'll get him, because there's nothing to suggest we will. I think you can only start looking at that even if a bid goes in, you know, that doesn't mean anything. That would, again, I would like to see a bid go in though, because that again shows that, you know, we're ready, we're trying to get him, and then it goes from there. But it won't be until we sort of see unanimous across the board from domestic journalists. I don't know, Kane's head has been turned, and Kane no longer wants to stay at Spurs.
Kane's put in a transfer request. Yeah,
you know, put in a transfer request. He doesn't want to stay there.
He's communicated to Daniel Levy. He wants out. He said if an off. It might be something like, Harry Kane has communicated to Spurs that if an offer comes in that is acceptable or is of an agreed value, that's, Spurs will let him go, something like that. Or he's communicated his desire to leave, so something of that nature. Once that happens, then you go, actually, shit, this might have legs. As of now, United can want Kane, but we also wanted Frankie de Jong last year. It didn't happen. So
no, it didn't.
Well, just because of who we want and just because of who Ten Hag is obsessed with doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. Again, he was obsessed with bringing Frankie to Manchester. Didn't happen.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say there. We can't be going down that route of obsession to the point of, like you said, the Kenny Rogers situation, like not knowing when to walk away, not knowing when to fold, like not knowing when to go, you know what, just to stop. We're not getting him. Or actually just stop. We need to move on. We need to move on because what we can't afford is another situation like Frankie de Jong, but for the striker position. We can't. We have to have learned from that. We have to have learned valuable lessons from doing that, because all it does is make us panic. And look, you can say, okay, we panic, but look at Casemiro there. That was decent, isn't it? Yeah, we got away with one there, but essentially with how we want to plan and actually with the profile that we now need, we still need someone like Frankie de Jong. That hole is still there. We just spent that big money on a profile that we wasn't even chasing. Something that Eric Ten Hag didn't see as a priority for one reason or another. He didn't. He saw it as a priority to get somebody like Frankie de Jong, a midfielder like him. When actually we look at our team now and we still need that. that is exactly what we need. Eriksen can fill that void a little bit because he's good on the ball, but he doesn't, travel with the ball how Frankie de Jong does. He doesn't evade challenges like Frankie de Jong does. He doesn't, go and get the ball off the back four and evade challenges and presses. That's not Eriksen's game. Eriksen is find the little pockets, keep things ticking, and got a good range of passing. But Casemiro was an amazing option B, which we didn't think we would be able to just get. But we can't use that as the benchmark and say, well, look, we've got Casemiro late door. So, if Kane doesn't work out, just go right to the end and we're just going to go and get a striker that we didn't expect to get that isn't the profile, but we can go and get him. I don't know, like, who would that be? We want a Kane type, but then we go and get... I don't even know who that would be off the top of my head. But that type of situation where you want one thing, you wait the whole time, and you get the opposite.
What's quite interesting as well, and this is always the perk of being live, I guess, is Fabrizio Romano apparently has just released a video on his YouTube channel.
Hello, guys.
Hello, guys. Harry Kane, Manchester United. He's said basically the same thing, is that he is convinced, Erik Ten Hag, rather, is convinced, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Harry Kane is the perfect striker for his project, which, in other words, is kind of being obsessed with that person. If you see that person as the perfect option, that's quite interesting. Certainly that he would say that as well. Do you see him as the perfect striker for Erik Ten Hag?
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think in terms of
perfect, I think exactly how he wants to play. Perfect.
And this is what's funny, isn't it? Because for some of the naysayers that will say these things about Harry Kane, somehow that like he's not good enough, or he doesn't suit Erik Ten Hag football, it doesn't suit the Erik Ten Hag system. Look at some of the strikers that Erik Ten Hag has had in his career, at like Ajax and stuff like that. Haller. Well, we're not looking at like we're not looking at like, I think people may be too focused on these sort of really sort of technically proficient sort of strikers or really quick strikers, whatever. Haller's, good hold-up play, can bring people in. Harry Kane's arguably the best in the world at hold-up play and bringing people in, drop in deep, spraying the ball around, can score all kind of goals. Outside the box, inside the box, headers, free kicks. You saw it at the weekend, whip one in the top corner, 25 yards. Like that's what he does. He scores goals. And I know nothing's guaranteed, but with Harry Kane, it's near enough is. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing with him. It near enough is. And I could understand why he would be obsessed with him, because you're getting, and it's not British bias. It's not. You're getting.
It's not. Some people think it is. It's not.
One of the best strikers in the world today. One of the best strikers in Premier League history, in English football history. And you might think, oh, so we can really over the top there. It's not. It genuinely isn't. I was talking to Marcel yesterday. I was saying to him, I've been Marcel'd. I'm fully converted, because he was saying Harry Kane for a long time. And my biggest issue with it for a while was, why would he come to Manchester United? Because we didn't have that much of a pool, and Marcel would go to win trophies, to win trophies. We can win. He can win trophies at Manchester United. And I'd say we haven't won a trophy in 5 years. We have won a trophy now, and in the current landscape, in terms of his options available to him right now,
it's more that
United would be the best option to him.
He doesn't. You could argue, like, rival fans could say, well, he ain't winning the Premier League at Man United. You could say that. You could say, listen, Pep's not going anywhere. Man United don't look like winning the Premier League anytime soon. They don't look like winning the Champions League anytime soon. But we could counter that by saying, well, where does he have more chance of doing it? Spurs or here. And we could also counter that by saying Man United aren't close to winning those things because of that exact reason, that they don't have players like Harry Kane, like him. Like, he's one of the players. I mean, I saw another report that was saying Man United believe that he would make them title challengers. You know, that would be KG's theory, one striker away theory. You know, and essentially, I think we said we need more. But if we had someone who scores the amount of goals he scores this season, where would we be? Well, we'd probably be near Arsenal.
Premier League. I think Premier League, you could say, it's still a bit of a reach, because consistency, that's the problem.
Exactly.
But this was another conversation I was having with Marcel yesterday. Honestly, and this might be, you say, oh, this is crazy, and you can clip it. But if you have someone like Harry Kane, you've probably got a better chance of winning a trophy like the Champions League, because it's cup competition. Like, that's goal in those competitions. You will have a chance. You've got someone like Harry Kane, you will always have a chance.
You've got a better chance because he makes any team better. The only team he wouldn't make better now is probably like Man City, maybe. Like,
and the thing is with that, City wanted him. It's not as if, like, again, City wanted him. They were going to spend over 100 million. Granted, it was a couple of years ago, but still, like, for instance, here,
it nearly happened.
Says, comes this overhyped best in the world. Eye rolls. You cannot tell me that Harry Kane is not today one of the best strikers in world football. He is. Fact.
No, he is. Regardless of any opinion, he is. He is. That's not an opinion. That is a fact.
He is.
It is a fact. It is a fact. Whether it's Kane loving or you think it's Kane propaganda, or if you just stick to the facts, he is
one of the best in the world.
Even Arsenal fans have to say that.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
Like, they got Jesus. He still outscored him easy. I know he missed. To be fair, he missed. But he's always outscored Jesus, even when he was in the prime City side. Like, Jesus has never been that guy. So, you know, All Elite says he scores, he assists. Why is this even a debate? Well, exactly, I agree, but it is a debate, because football opinion is always a debate. But you're right. There's some things shouldn't be a debate, in my opinion, of how good someone is when it's unequivocal, like they are. Owen Style Advisor says, big up Owen and Flex, loving the FIFA streams, by the way. If the club is sold, we won't have to pay interest payment on the debt of 100 million. Will this then be available for transfers and help with FFP? I'll be honest, I'm not an expert in that. I don't know the real answer to that. What I do know is, clearly, with what we've just seen with Chelsea, and I'm not advocating that we do a madness like that, but clearly with FFP and with bloody City, no one's hardly getting that. People are always finding ways to bloody circumnavigate FFP. Always. So use that information as you will. I haven't really answered your question because I didn't want to lie, but that's my opinion on it.
And also as well, I mean, I know FFP and the regulations depend from country to country. Obviously, UEFA, that's more of sort of a European kind of thing. But Barcelona reportedly were on the brink of financial collapse last year. They just won La Liga. By pulling all sorts of levers. And even to this day, people are like, how did they do that? And people are like, I don't really know. You know, put it into the computer. They were saying it again this time, aren't they? They're going to have to sell them. They're in a bit of trouble. So to your point, when it comes to finances, it is true. Like, you know, I mean, like you said, City, they've got all of these charges against them. Everton as well, they've got a charge against them. Like, you know, FFP in football is a joke. It is a joke.
Yeah, just so we're not all one side and biased. Diva says Kane is just a penalty merchant.
I mean, the penalty thing as well. I love when people say that because apparently you can't score penalties. Penalties don't count, Flex.
Yeah,
You don't. If it's a 1-0 game and Man United win by a penalty, it should be 0-0 because penalties don't count.
Yeah. Like there's no pressure on pens as well, and he converts probably like 80% of his pens. But then we used to Lord Bruno when he was doing like the mad numbers, but he was doing the penalties. But it's all right because he's our guy. It's all right. United supporter said Kane hasn't won anything. Facts. No, he hasn't.
Plays for Spurs.
He plays for Spurs. Spurs have never won anything. Darker says, at what point do you give up on Kane?
That is a good question.
That's a good question. I think we have to. That's why I was talking about learning from last year. I don't know the exact point that we should. Probably, I don't know. Would you say before we go on tour you should give up? No, I wouldn't say that early because he's that good. I know I want the striker in, but Kane's an exception. I'd probably say like when does it end? The 1st of September.
You don't want to.
If we start, you can't start into the season without having him. So that when does the season start?
That's like August, mid-August, early August, mid-August, maybe something like that.
I'd say August, like August the 1st, maybe.
You're still willing to go from even in August?
What's that? Back from tour and everything. You still ain't got a striker. Because how long would that give? That'll give a month, innit? Still got a month to get someone else. So a week before then, 6. I need 5 weeks. If you're not going to get Kane, I need 5 weeks where you can get someone else. That's over a month. 5 to 6 weeks. So what's that? 2 weeks. 2 weeks before the end of August. So what's that? Back end of tour. That is.
Do you want us to be on tour and we're still hearing the back and forth of, are we going to get Harry Kane? Aren't we going to get Harry Kane? Because that's kind of Frankie de Jong territory, isn't it? Really. I'm saying mid-July. I think you have to give up on that one. And when I say mid-July, I mean 15th. Like that. Even that's pushing it, I think. Yeah, and then you've got to go elsewhere, I think. Because
that's true.
Also as well, we're talking this kind of strikers we're talking about is a lot of money. Those deals take time to put together, and I feel like if you get into like August territory, then we'd have to overspend. We'd have to overspend at that point, I think. So I think latest has to be mid-July. Latest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, yeah. No, I agree with. In hindsight, yeah, it's too late. What I predicted. It's
quite an interesting one as well from All Elite. I don't know how accurate that is, but it says 211 goals, 31 penalties. Not exactly a penalty merchant.
Again, if that is true, that's what I mean. Myths, isn't it? You get myths, you know. Red Baron, big up Red Baron, says you said City bought in up and coming strikers, i.e. Aguero. Then said United should do the same. Then said Kane is world class, but not a superstar like Neymar. Can you be world class and not a superstar? Yes.
Yes.
Bernardo Silva is a world class footballer. He's not a superstar. There's one for you right there.
People like David Silva. He was I wouldn't call him
world
superstar. You know, world class.
World class. Who else? Well, we're picking all City guys, which is annoying. Paul Scholes, world class, but little ginger lad, quiet, doesn't really do much interviews. He's not a superstar. He's a superstar in terms of the game and being a GOAT. You know, like Beckham was a superstar means like they come with more weight than the club. Like I know no player is bigger than any club, but with superstars, they're not. When you have them in your, like we say, Ronaldo wasn't bigger than our club, but what he comes with, it comes with aspects that are moving like he could be bigger than the club. Like what's this? It's crazy. Like Ronaldo, Pogba. Obviously, Messi. Obviously, there's different forms of superstar because you could say you don't put Ronaldo and Pogba in the same thing in prime. I get that, but I'm just talking about out and out superstars: Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. There's not a lot.
There's sort of superstars. They're sort of people that are sort of outside of sort of the football zeitgeist in the sense of like people that aren't even huge football fans. They know who they are, and you go, "Why?" They go, "I think they're a footballer." Did they know if they're any good? They go, I don't know.
Yeah. Kevin De Bruyne, same thing. And superstars are people who don't watch football will probably know who they are as well, and they're really good. Both. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're so like Beckham was amazing, but people who've never watched football know Beckham is. Same with Cristiano Ronaldo. Same with, but then maybe less so with R9 or like Zidane. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? In different eras.
Yeah, and it's weird actually with some of those people, isn't it? Because more superstarish once they stop playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
if you're a football fan, you will always know how good Ronaldinho was, and he's amazing. But if you never watched football or soccer in America and they showed a picture of Ronaldinho, would they know who he is? The average person walking down the street in
Ronaldinho.
bloody... Probably not. They wouldn't.
Yeah, they know
Probably
who
not.
Neymar is. They know who Neymar is. They know
Yeah.
people.
They know Neymar.
Would they know
And
Mbappe?
if you don't watch football, maybe not.
Maybe just about
It's
now.
only really Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. Even Neymar, they might not.
Yeah.
You know? So, but to answer the question, Red Baron, absolutely, you can be world class. Look at Rodri, and he got a degree or something, and he just doesn't. He don't have no social media. Like, look at that. Rodri is world class. Yeah, he could probably walk down loads of places. No one know who the hell he is.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
this is a good one. NJ says if you're on the cover of FIFA, you know what I mean. Those
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. Remember that? What FIFA was it when it was Roberto Carlos, Ryan Giggs, and Davids?
Yeah,
and Henri, I think at the time.
Yeah.
Or was it with that? I can't remember, but yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can, to answer the question, you can absolutely be. You said City got up and coming strikers. Yeah.
So this is the thing, isn't it, with the Kane thing? Is people are saying that he's too old, and we said the other day that City get up and coming players, not necessarily strikers, up and coming players. We were talking about throughout the entirety of the team. I just think Harry Kane, he's just outside of that, though. I really do. And we're not saying get a team full of 30-year-olds or anything like that. But you also have to be who's attainable and who's available at the time too. And you know, any striker worth their salt really this summer is costing us 100 million. And that's what we're being quoted.
Because goals are a premium.
Kane 100, Osimhen 130, even Gonzalo Ramos, they're saying 100 million.
Stupid, that is. Yeah.
100. So if you're going to spend 100 million, wouldn't you want to spend it on someone that you know is going to work? And then all of your other players that you're going for, Højlund, you know, you bring him in to support him. You're not spending as much money.
But the people against Kane are saying the opposite. They're saying if you're going to spend 100 million, wouldn't you rather spend it on the guy who could be there the next 10 years? But there's no guarantee the guy's going to be there that long. He could have 3 years at Man United. He'll spend the same amount of time as Kane and then go to Real Madrid because he's that bloody good. You can't just do it because he can be there for the next 10 years. How many players do you buy that have that type of longevity at clubs? It's almost like the working world. You look at like working society. Back in the day, like my granddad's time, and even my dad, to be fair, he's staying in one big company for like 30 years, 35 years. You know, they all work in there, come through there, retire there, etc., etc. Nowadays, look at jobs. People sometimes keep it moving every 2 or 3 years because that's just how it is. And football transfers, in terms of people getting involved in football clubs and then being there for the next 10 years, and I'm not saying that can't happen, but like there's no people saying that we should get Osimhen because he could be here for that long. Well, how do you know? There is no guarantee. Because also when you're that good, you can also be a victim of your success where you get your head turned, where he could come in and bang that many goals, right? And Man United don't win a Champions League or a Premier League. And then Real Madrid come knocking or Barcelona come knocking or PSG come knocking.
If it works, if the transfer works out, let's be honest, nobody gives a shit. If Harry Kane comes in next season and he scores 25 goals and we're in the top 4 again and we go a little bit closer to winning things, but then people aren't talking about his age or anything like that. No. They're not. You know, that becomes an issue if he comes in and he doesn't work out or anything like that. Look at people like Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho's been in a couple of seasons. We spent money on him. And he's young, but people are writing him off because they said we can't keep him in for 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
Okay,
but we and me part of it as well. Everyone was saying get him the year before we even got him and just spend the 110. Stop penny pinching, Glazer. Spend 110 million. Get him. He's the best thing since sliced bread. And now look, no one wants to keep him anywhere near 10 years. We keep him near another 10 months.
Harry Kane's 30. He's like,
well, Manoj says here, buy a 30-year-old Kane. Then what? After 2 years, spend another 100 million. Another bad decision. Osimhen, Ramos, Kian. I don't know who that is. Kiani.
Oh, so are we saying then that
so
when
in
Harry Kane's 32, he's going to be just he's
No.
awful. He is finished. 2 years, he is over. He is terrible.
Kane in 2 years will still be better than Martial, than Ramos. I don't know who that other guy is. Osimhen is different, but he'll be better than the favourite strikers that you want. He will.
Robert
Still.
Lewandowski's in the league. He got 20 plus goals this season. He's 34. Like, and again, I know people always say you can't compare Kane to Lewandowski. You can. You can. I think that Kane's game is not based upon pace or those physical capabilities that can drop off that quickly. They're not. You know, I think, and again, he's proved it in the rigors of the Premier League. Even in this season, in a terrible, honestly, Spurs awful. He scored like 40% of their goals this season, Harry Kane. It's nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Christian, 100% agree. We need more than one striker, though. Agreed. Martial was going as well. Remember the days when we had 4 top strikers, anyone? Absolutely. Absolutely 100% agree with you. And maybe you could say, I don't know if you're also of the opinion of, so don't spend so much on one because we need like 3. But I do agree with that point you made there, Christian. Like if Harry Kane comes in, he's not enough. Do you know what I'm saying? United says Kane will be like Van Persie, a nice year or 2, and then we will again get the backside of old players. I disagree on Harry Kane.
I disagree, but look, we're never going to have, I think, unanimous agreement on this until if he comes in and then he does well. I think that's the only thing that will change people's minds about that.
Well, past the time that they said, because a lot of people say he can do good for 2 years. So if he came and done good in his 3rd and 4th year, then that would shut people up. But essentially, we'd have to wait for that for anyone to change, their mind. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Another thing that's probably going to stir the pot now as well. United want Mount transfer.
Yeah, this is really interesting because it's now coming from quite a few people are saying this as well. It's not just one outlet. So it started off this morning from Sammy Mockable from the Daily Mail, who said that Manchester United are launching a £55 million swoop for Mason Mount. He is a primary target for Erik ten Hag heading into the summer. He wants a deal wrapped up quickly. Old Trafford sources have indicated that talks over a move for Mason Mount to Manchester United are set to commence. Manchester United, as I mentioned, want to pay in the region of £55 million for Mount, a price that falls below Chelsea's reported £85 million valuation, which is crazy. United may be prepared to increase their initial valuation given Ten Hag's determination to add him to his ranks. In addition to Manchester United, Arsenal are also interested in Mason Mount, while Liverpool are actively also pursuing a deal to sign him. Mauricio Pochettino would also ideally prefer him to sign a new contract at Chelsea. Now, as part of this extra bit that we were talking about when it came to Harry Kane from Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, Manchester United believe they have a strong chance to sign Mason Mount, who is prepared to leave Chelsea. They want at least, and this is quite interesting, you had the thing this morning saying £85 million. Well, according to The Guardian, they're saying that Chelsea wants at least £60 million, which is only £5 million up from United's reported initial valuation. Ten Hag reportedly wants more athleticism in midfield and is a fan of Mason Mount's versatility and work rate. United are also interested in, get ready flex, Mateo Kovacic, and could rival Arsenal and Newcastle with a bid for Declan Rice. Scrap that last bit. I'm not sure about the Declan Rice one actually happening. But then for Romano, in his video that he just uploaded in the last few minutes, has said and confirmed that Manchester United are interested in Mason Mount, as well as those other clubs that we mentioned, Arsenal and Liverpool. So you've got Romano, you've got the Daily Mail, and you've got the Guardian all saying United want Mason Mount this summer. So there's a lot there, Flex, to suggest that that interest is very real.
It depends how much he costs, man. It depends how much he costs. Is it like 50? What do they want? Like 50 odd?
Well, again, depends who you believe.
You don't really know the fee, do you?
They're saying that the general consensus is United are willing to sort of spend 50 to maybe 60 million, and Chelsea's asking price ranges from 60 to 85. I think 85 is crazy. Because he's got, I think the whole reason this is a thing is because he's got, a year left on his contract?
He's got a year left and he can't agree a new one.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 85's, but people will say, well, you want to spend that on Harry Kane? It's part of the Kane thing to overhear for a second. But 55 to 60 million for Mason Mount, you having that? Ten Hag really wants him, apparently.
No, but the price is making me feel uneasy. All right, let me get back to the price in 2 seconds. Yeah, the player, I would have him in our squad. I 100% would have him in our squad because I think he's versatile. I think he plays with good intensity, the best version of him. I think because he's the forgotten about man now and he's fallen off, you forget. Like, we write players off, don't we, and say, oh, they're just crap. There was a moment in time when he was really good, and you could see, talks of him going to. I just think he would suit like Liverpool's midfield maybe more, or like the way that they want to play. But one good thing about him is he can play in the wide areas. He can play coming off the left. He can play coming off the right. Can play just off the front. I don't know about him in thoroughbred central midfield, like 6 and 8. Like, I can't. Like, if with what we've got, Bruno and Casemiro are gonna be the mainstays. Let's face it. Bruno's probably gonna be captain next year. Casemiro's the guy, and that's the type of job that he does. No one else does do. Mount can't do that. So then you're putting him in instead of Eriksen. And if you say you said you had a midfield 3 of Eriksen, Casemiro, and Mount, that's not the right balance. That's not it for me. Mount's an attacking midfielder. He needs to play off the front in a 10, or like he can play from wide areas. He's done that a lot on the right or left for Chelsea. On the left-hand side, let's face it, in Man United, he ain't going to get in. You got Rashford, you got Garnacho coming through. God knows what happens with Sancho, but he'll probably still be here, but he's a left winger. Ten Hag doesn't see him as a right winger. So he ain't getting on the left. On the right-hand side, you got Anthony. We don't know what's going to go on with Ahmad. We want someone to come in and give Anthony a kick up the arse and keep pushing him. He could come in the squad and could come in on the right-hand side quite comfortably. But for that type of money, nah, it's too much. I think it's too, because to not be a starter as well, he's not displacing Bruno. He is adaptable. I'd have him in the squad, because then you could go, right, Bruno could go on the right for a bit, put Mason Mount in a 10, or vice versa, or Bruno doesn't start this game, and against really weak opposition, you could, we've seen Bruno go deeper, but we didn't really like it. But in certain games, he did do it. And but at the top level of how we want to keep playing, Mason Mount, Bruno, and Casemiro is not the midfield I think that we need.
I can see why Ten Hag wants him. I can see
hard,
why, because I think he's thinking
good technical ability. Yes.
I think he's thinking work rate. I think something like he's got some of the highest pressing stats in the league, which I was surprised by, because when you watch him, you don't come to your mind thinking, oh, yeah, really high intense.
Well, we said that about Weghorst.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. And again, stats can be manipulated.
Exactly.
But I can see why Ten Hag wants him. I'm with you when I'm thinking about what our budget potentially could be, and I'm thinking 60 million. And then you're adding stuff up then, aren't you? Because you're going 60 million plus 100 for a striker.
Yeah.
What else we got after that? Yes, player sales, but still. But I wouldn't be shocked if he moves this summer. It's looking likely that he's probably going to move.
Yeah, he's not going to stay. I just don't think he fits us.
Or
he could, but not for that money.
I could see him working really well at Liverpool. I think in a Klopp midfield, I could see that. I could see that working.
So you had him, McAllister, and then a 6.
Yeah, you've sort of revamped it then. You know what I mean? You've got, intensity.
Because they don't play with a 10. They play with like 3 thorough, maybe 2 8s or something.
Sort of tightish in the middle.
Yeah.
I could see them.
You could make that happen. That's one out. That's like prime Wijnaldum, prime Henderson.
Yeah.
And then Fabinho in there.
Or for a younger Milner, you know what I mean?
Younger Milner,
reliable, kind of thing. I could see that happening. There's something about, I'd just be surprised if this one actually ended up happening again, more so because of the price. And we're going to get into Rabiot in just a second. I just feel like those kind of free transfers might be where we end up going, just purely because, again, of the budget, and we need more than, like, we're talking about a striker, but that's the primary focus, that's the primary target. But ideally, you do want to get through this summer transfer window with more than just bringing in a striker.
Would you go? Because a lot of people are talking about Lavia at Southampton, who is really good. I do like him. Obviously, he's really young, coming up to Man United, different level, etc. He's had a bad season at Southampton in terms of the club. The team was rubbish.
Yeah.
Honey. But he always shows a little bit. Like, even when that game when they played against, well, when I've seen him get out against us, he was being good as an individual. You just look at him and go, he's all right. He's good. And then when they were 3-1 up against Arsenal in that game at the Emirates, like, he was just good. I was like, bloody hell, he's good, man. He gets about. But it's like, would you go? Yeah, because they've just gone down. You could get Lavia for what? What would Lavia? 25 maybe? Let's say. It's about right, isn't it? Bit of tax on top of that because they've gone down. Young player. About 20, 25.
Possibly.
Like, would you go and get one of them in, like instead of trying to, or like some of the people saying there, Maddison, if Leicester go down, I saw Harvey Barnes is linked with bloody Aston Villa or West Ham. They're going to have a bring and buy sell. They are. Tillemans has already gone on a free anyway. Would you just say, Newcastle wanted Tillemans, Maddison for 50 mil in January twice, couldn't get him. Maybe they'll go back for him. I don't know. But would you just say, oh, actually, let's just go for a Maddison? But then Maddison, would he want to come Man United at this point of his career when he needs to start? And no one's displacing Bruno. They're not.
Yeah, and then you're having conversations, and obviously, look, we always say this, don't we? About like what we always do this with transfers. Oh, who's going to come out the team for that person? You go, wait, does it whoever's playing badly, whoever's not doing good enough, or you've got to have those players that you can just swap in and out dependent on form and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what they're going to be forced to do, is to go with, like you said, a sort of cheaper alternative that's maybe a bit more of a gamble on the young side of things, and hope that it pays off. And we've got a good coach that can develop young players too. Yeah. So if it is a Lavia, like you said, maybe you do try that and sort of go, that big amount of money has to go on the striker. Then we're stretched a little bit thin. Maybe we're going to have to, because we have said, in fairness, people like Casemiro and Eriksen, that's the midfield, isn't it? So if you just had a younger version that maybe isn't ready right now, but in a couple of years can be ready to sort of take that Eriksen mantle, maybe that's the direction to go in.
Yeah, exactly. So on Mason Mount, I think there's ways where if the price was right, if he was really cheap, which obviously he's not, but if he was like 20 million, 25 million, I'd have him in our squad. 30 million, I'd have him in our squad.
Cost that, though, is he?
But he's not going to cost that. And that's a big problem for us, which for me counts us out of him. I agree with that bit you said perfectly. I can see why Ten Hag likes him, if that's true. But I just don't know financially how we could do it unless there's something.
And also, all of these players, and obviously, again, with United, take it with a pinch of salt. Yes. This big. But like, Eric's don't care, I guess, about the budget. Then he's like to get him. Because he's seen it. He saw it last season because he was told a budget, and we ended up spending well over that. Over it. And
but would we be able to spend well over that this time? I don't think we would.
I don't think he cares. You just go get
him. He might not care, but I don't think he'll get it though. This last time we got it because
keep pushing, keep
going, eh?
Keep pushing. Yeah. Good is not good enough. Keep pushing. It's clear. Yeah. Bring him in.
Super chats here. George says, sorry if you guys have already talked about this. Thoughts on Frimpong. Read that Dallo will extend as well. Wondering what the future is for Wan-Bissaka. We are going to talk about the right back situation in the topic after the next. So stay tuned, George. Big up to you. And David R3 says Harry Maguire and 50 mil for Kane. I mean, they would never accept that, but I could see Harry Maguire going to Spurs. And Dean Henderson.
There's rumors that I saw people maybe jumping on a little bit too much about. There was a thing out today saying that Harry Maguire was sort of definitely leaving, or it was Harry Maguire set to leave Manchester United this summer. That was it. And people go, "See, he's definitely leaving." You go, "Wow, that's not really confirmed." Everyone's assuming that is the case, but
exactly. I mean, the way how he couldn't be any more surplus. Could he? Like, he is literally the term of surplus. Like, don't need you anymore, mate. Like, it's sad for him and on his journey, but in terms of where we're at and what Ten Hag wants to do, he's even put Lindelof. Like, Harry Maguire is literally sitting on the bench for every single game, barely coming off the bench. Red Baron says, you said City got up and coming strikers. We covered that earlier. Red Baron, big up to you. And we read that one earlier as well, Manoj. And Ahmad says 30 is not that old. Agreed. I do agree with you. There's this thing that as soon as you're 30, you got to get in the bin. It depends how good you are. It depends how you look after your body. That's the facts about that. Emmanuel says, why not go for Mateus Nunes or Tillemans? Tillemans, for me, ain't got it. He's very slight. He can't get about the pitch. He ain't got no legs. He's all right on the ball. But sometimes he looks like he's running through treacle. Like, honestly, or with a parachute on his back. He can't move. I don't want that. Yeah. I don't know. We've got Casemiro. We can kind of. I'm not trying to put them in the same thing, but in terms of getting about the pitch and running about and Eriksen press resistant and like we've got two players who don't really do that. I don't need a third in Tillemans personally, just because he's free. Tillemans not for me. Okay, on to Rabiot.
Yes,
United still interested in Rabiot. Yeah,
before we get to Rabiot, we've got a couple of member chats we got to read out to. Starlord, I think the OG member, has been a member for like 11 months. 11 months.
Starlord
says, big up absolutely everyone. If we get Kane, in my opinion, the title challenge is on. Fernando says, just get Boy Kev on the free. Easy replacement for Wout. Boy Kev, Boy Kev's got strong pace over 5 yards. That's guaranteed. Who's quicker, Flex? Boy Kev or Wout?
Wout. Yeah.
Just about. Just about.
Just about better. Just quickly as well, Directed Football says the Bruno statement by Flex is outrageous and the core reason United won't progress and the manager will eventually get sacked. Stop the player FC shit. So obviously, because I said there's no way Bruno's going to get displaced. I didn't say that he 100% shouldn't get displaced. I've said many times, if you've been watching some of our shows, Director of Football, if you've been watching some of these shows, I said our team won't achieve anything top until we look back at the team and only 3 players are even in the squad from this old guard and probably not even starting. And I said, Rashford, Bruno, Shaw. That's what I said. So that would let you know, if you actually watched, that there's definitely no player FC. I've also said my favorite player, the Ghost, the Wraith, the Phantom, if Kim Min-jae comes in, and he's getting older and no player FC, he might not be able to play as much. So I think if you actually watch the content that we do on a consistent basis, you'd definitely not come to that conclusion. But big up to you. Rabiot,
yes. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted today saying Manchester United are still interested in Adrien Rabiot. After talks collapsed last summer, he is appreciated by Erik ten Hag. Nothing advanced yet, as there are many clubs in the race, Bayern like him as well. And timing, as with everything Manchester United at the moment, depends on the club sale. Juventus have offered him a new deal, but it is still unlikely, particularly, of course, of all of the sort of chaos that's going on at Juventus at the moment. Their points deduction is now back in force. They're out of the Europa League, so it's all kind of sort of collapsing a little bit. But it looks like Rabiot is going to be a free agent in the summer, and United are still interested. Now the question becomes, Flex, a free agent Rabiot, is that something United consider?
It is, because he's free.
In addition to everything else.
I've been thinking about it. Yeah. I've been thinking about this Rabiot thing, and I don't know, man. What he does, okay, let's go through the attributes. What does he do different? Because obviously Casemiro was going to play, not player FC, but he's going to play. Yeah.
Do you saying, Flex?
Let's see what he does differently to Eriksen. So he's more physical than Eriksen and can travel with the ball better than Eriksen. Is he better on the ball than Eriksen? Is he going to give us assists? Is he going to give us goals? I don't know. I think we'll just take him because he's free.
I was going to say, I think it's options, isn't it? Let's talk options, because if you're talking about a player that's available on a free, and look, as I've said before, there's no such thing as a free transfer in football because money still goes on wages. Money, then even more money goes to agents' fees and signing on bonuses and loyalty, all that kind of stuff, because the agent, which in this case is Rabiot's mother, would say, look, you're saving all this money that you're not going to be spending on a transfer fee, so you give it to us and you sort of convince us. And other clubs would be interested because he's on a free, as Romano says. Bayern Munich, they're also interested. There'll be other clubs interested, even in Italy as well. I'm sure they'll be like, hey, you can stay in Italy, you can come to us. So there'll be somewhat of a bidding war in for him. I think given us some of that, we're talking about money being maybe a little bit more tight, it's not the worst option in the world.
It's not the worst, I think.
But it is, that is one where you do feel like that could be maybe a bit of an expensive stopgap that might bite us a little bit.
We're just literally getting him because he's free. Let's face it. No, not many people are out here being like, oh, Rabiot's the one, we have to get Rabiot. He's the one who can really change this midfield. It's just because he's free. And John Murtagh was out there last year trying to get him and didn't get him. Like, it doesn't fill me with much, I'll be honest. Like, again, I'm giving him his flowers because I watched him in the World Cup in person live. He was really good in that French side. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm not saying he's crap. I'm not saying that. I don't know. He's got some good attributes. He is strong. He's powerful. He is decent on the ball. He can get goals.
He's played for Juventus this season.
He's played for Juventus week in, week out. I'm just not sold on him. But because he's free, you just have him in a squad. But I don't know. Is Rabiot going to help us close the gap to City?
I'm not sure he's that kind of player, though. I'm not sure you bring him in to close the gap.
So he's just a squad player then. He's just a squad player. But we need starters.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what, if you get Rabiot, because he's free in the squad, I still need two sixes. I still need people who help us control the game.
What if I say to you, Flex, McTominay gets sold in the summer to Newcastle for 40 million or even 35, around that kind of thing, and you get Rabiot in on a free? Are you happy with that bit of business? Are our midfield options better or worse because of that bit of business?
Better. Just because you're saying just that player for that player. Is he better than McTominay? Yes. So, okay. You've made it very... It's
quite binary. I know it's binary.
Yeah. Like you said, like David said there, Rabiot or McTominay. There's your answer. But I think we need to be careful with doing, are they just better than McTominay and Fred? Because
Fred has his role. Business we do. It can't be.
It can't be. You can't. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Well, we got rid of McTominay and we bought Rabiot, so now we've got an extra option. So actually, we were right in midfield now. No. We still need, like you said, we still need that player that you go, he's starting every week in that. Do you see what I'm saying? And Eriksen's the one who comes in as the squad guy.
Yeah.
You know, but
then if you had Eriksen and Rabiot, you go, I'll tell you what, that bench, that's looking a bit strong. Competitions.
Yeah. And that's what we need. That's what we need. But yeah, I think we're way off being where we want to be, obviously. But I just think the midfield has to change. Right back. Ten Hag wants right back reinforcements, and obviously while we have been live, Romano's been saying about Diogo Dalot, etc. Where are we at?
This is a really interesting one. So Samuel Lutkos wrote a big piece about this today also, talking about the right-back situation. As you mentioned, Romano's expanded on it as well. So Samuel Lutkos said that Aaron Wan-Bissaka's form could secure his Manchester United future at the club as they mull over recruiting a new right-back. It's understood that Crystal Palace started to prepare a package at the start of the year to re-sign Wan-Bissaka in the summer, but the activity on that has gone dormant. Ten Hag has been impressed by Wan-Bissaka's recent resurgence, but he wants a new right-back to improve his options in the area. Now, a bit came out later on today, possibly come from Germany. We've been linked to Jeremy Frimpong for a long time. And Samuel Lutkos said that Jeremy Frimpong's representatives were encouraged by discussions with Manchester United, who initially indicated that Wan-Bissaka would be moved on in the summer. However, United figures have since suggested Wan-Bissaka could stay at the club amid his improved form. Lutkos also said that Barcelona had been monitoring Diogo Dalot, has attracted interest from the likes of Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, AC Milan, Roma, and Atletico Madrid. He's currently in discussions over a new contract at Manchester United. But as you mentioned, in the last hour or so, Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester United are advancing in talks to extend Diogo Dalot's contract. The club plan remains to keep him and get a new long-term deal done. So really, and that, again, that's a lot of moving parts there for that right-back position. But it does imply the club wants to keep Dalot. Wan-Bissaka, they're still somewhat uncertain, but they're like, tell you what, he's been good.
I think Wamby's helped change that in the last 6 months.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're going, but there are options out there that maybe, and right back something he's wanted to do since last summer. I really, truly believe if there was any more money left in that budget, we'd have got a right back last summer. There were even talks about swaps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But now I think Ten Hag, ideally he wants to get to a position where there's one just clear favourite who is his right back. But because their performances have been so parallel kind of thing, where there's not much, there's not much to choose between them. And for certain games, Wan-Bissaka's invaluable. I don't think we should underestimate that skill set. It's very unique what he does, you know. How often apart from, and this is going to sound absurd, apart from Kyle Walker, what other fullback can you play and go, you know what, he's going to lock down the opposite number? Trent can't do it.
No.
Trips is really good at a lot of things. But would you say...
Summer of 2021,
badly.
I wanted him.
Trust me, he was close. He was close. He was close to coming, but...
Ironically, it was Dalot. It was hinged on Dalot's future at the time, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Is Dalot going to go? Yeah.
Exactly. Like Leo says, Trippier maybe. Like Trippier is very... you know, very, very good at a lot of things, and he's multifunctional right back, and is very solid. Been the best. He's been the best right back this year, really, overall in terms of consistency. He has. Trent's done more eye-catching moments, but let's not act like he's been disgusting defensively to the point where they've had to go actually just play midfield. Like, that's what's happened. So as a right back, you can't even class him as that. So, I mean, maybe a fully fit and firing Reece James, who's got good form behind him, you'd fancy against a lot of good attackers because he's defensively solid, but he's just had too many injuries. But back to my point, Wan-Bissaka and Kyle Walker are probably the only fullbacks in the league. You can maybe add in Shaw in some capacities to lock people down and be strong in that. But really, those two of you go, I tell you what, before balls even kick, I'm telling you that left winger ain't getting past that right back.
Put it this way, FA Cup final, I would be stunned if Aaron Wan-Bissaka doesn't start.
Absolutely.
I would be stunned. Old Trafford earlier on in January, earlier on this year, whoever was on the right, I forget, I think it was Grealish that day. I mean, I know Grealish did score in that game, but he was excellent. But the point being is that, you know, like you said, it's a unique skill set. And I think Ten Hag's got a real dilemma on his hands because I think in his mind, he is still thinking, I want that maybe more sort of. Tyler's takes.
Shall I put him on a
strong?
Takes ain't. Oh, well, whoa. Tyler. Bro, Tyler, you are welcome on this channel to give your opinion. You might have to get timed out. I might time him out. I've never done that on a live stream before. But that is so disgraceful. Even if you're trolling and you wanted that reaction, that is the most craziest thing I've ever... Should we time him out? It's all in good jest as well, Tyler. Big up to you. But you have got to be trolling. Tyler, what on earth? Sorry. He's getting timed out. Tyler. Actually, let me see if Tyler comes back with something just to clear it, say I was only joking or something. If you double down, you're getting timed out.
I don't think they'd get timed out. Look, people can have their opinions. I mean, we're not going to agree.
No, Owen, don't be. That is crazy.
There's no such thing. They said there's no such thing as a wrong opinion. There's something as a bad opinion. You know what I mean?
No,
a silly opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, big up Tyler. Where was we? That just caught me by surprise.
Oh yeah, the right back thing.
Yeah.
I do think that Ten Hag has a legitimate dilemma on his hands where he's thinking to himself, oh, I didn't expect Wan-Bissaka to get this good defensively because there aren't like we're at the point now about, you know, we want to lock down Dalot and, you know, all this kind of stuff, and he's versatile and all this kind of stuff, but still, like, when we've got to the point now that when Wan-Bissaka does start over Dalot, no one bats an eyelid. No. Nobody. Everyone goes. Oh,
and most of the time, we want it, depending on what sort of game it is. Like, I tell you what, I bet get Wan-Bissaka in. When it was them games against Brighton, I was like, listen, Wan-Bissaka must start, and he will start, and he did. Started both.
Carabao Cup final. That was maybe like one of the biggest takeaways coming out of it. Was I tell you what, we got lucky. Wan-Bissaka should have started that game.
He locked up Matoma in the first game at Wembley, when Matoma had to basically say, "Yeah, I got defeated. Like I couldn't get past him. Like it."
Yeah.
And even in the one, to be fair, Matoma was clean through, but that was Lindelof's fault because he gave it straight to bloody Matoma, and he should have scored. But other than that, again,
you know what it's like. Well. You know what it's like, Flex. Yeah, and maybe this might make some people angry. It almost reminds me a little bit of the David De Gea debate, in that. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka defensively, and like you said, one-on-one, excellent. Going forward, he's got better, but I think Ten Hag in his fullbacks probably wants a bit more. He probably wants more out of his fullbacks. He wants them to be more of an attacking threat. He wants them to be able to participate more in the game going forward, which Wan-Bissaka has tried to do more, but there are better people out there that are more capable of doing that than him. And it's almost like with the De Gea thing of like, yeah, he makes good saves and yes, you know, clean sheets and has won us points and all this kind of stuff. But maybe he just wants that different profile. Maybe. I'm not sure. Is it like that? Is that an apt comparison?
That he wants a different profile.
But again, I said it's almost like the De Gea situation of he's really good at this part of things, but is that really what Ten Hag is looking for?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He wants someone who's just comfortable on the ball, can get up and down, provide assists, really good technically on the ball, which Wan-Bissaka is improving in. But because he's been so good at the other side of things defensively, he's been forced to play. You can't not play him. You can't. And when you've seen Dalot against like St. Maximum or against certain wingers, you're like, oof, yeah. But he's getting better at that as well, winning his duels as well. Though let's not act like Dalot isn't getting better in 1v1s. He is.
Yeah.
So
but he might Ten Hag just might be like I don't know, my fullbacks, I want them to be able just to, again, someone like Luke Shaw who's so technical, so calm on the ball and can he
wants that. He wants
participate more. You know what I mean? That he might be willing to sort of sacrifice. Go, look, Wan-Bissaka's great one-on-one defensively. Like you said, he can lock people off. Unbelievable. That's not what I'm looking for. And again, a bit like the De Gea thing of great saves and that, but ideally, that's not really what I'm looking for, sort of thing. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very true. Very, very true. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a big show. Loads to talk about. We've got planned 9 a.m. tomorrow. We've got the preview, myself and Matisse, preview for the Chelsea game. Went out a little bit later than usual. We were going to put it out today, but we had to cover this. We had to talk about the transfer stuff. So we'll be at the game tomorrow and obviously joining the guys on the match view as well, who will be live. And remember, after the game, you can call in live on the full-time view. Members. There'll be a members community post. Make sure you check it out, get the link, and come and have your say live here on the channel with Owen and to the rest of the UV community.
We've got, I believe, some super chats that we've missed, Flex, as well.
Yes. Where are we at? Lil Yo-Yo said, hope you become the preferred bit of Fleck. Lil Yo-Yo thinks I've got some mad...
Really pushing it, yeah.
I'm not the guy, bro. I'm not the guy. I promise you. David R3 says, Rabiot and McTominay, there's your answer. I think we read that one. And big up Red Baron. Red Baron says, Flex, total respect, as always, of course. Back to you as well. We disagree with Kane, but that's life. I hope if we get Kane, I'm proven wrong and you're proven right. I might change my opinion. Listen, mate, even the other way, maybe I'm proved wrong and we go and get Osimhen and he does stay for the next 10 years and we win everything. Hopefully I'm proved wrong as well. So
we're not above holding our hands up. I mean, you did with De Gea, didn't you? You know what I mean? There's also a members chat from PS says he's been a member for 10 months. Says Wan-Bissaka has surprised us, but like David De Gea, he's part of the problem in the build-up. His transfer value will be at its highest it will ever be. Time to cash in, possibly. And also, by the way, Flex, I've also heard through my sources that the latest episode of UV Raw is out for members right now. You can go and watch it right now if you're a member. Yeah.
Check it out. Check it out. Okay. All right, guys. Big up to you. Big up to everyone. Big up to Tyler as well. I see everyone saying, Tyler. Flex dodging my message. What message? Not dodging you, Tyler. Oh, Tyler. Just saying Shaw is hugely overrated as a defender, letting people dribble into the box and hit easy crosses with space. Malacia doesn't give space. Shaw ain't close to Wan-Bissaka or Walker defensively. Nah, I disagree. Shaw's complete. Yeah, any defender can get, apart from Wan-Bissaka, I know that, but any defender can get cooked. But what Shaw brings a calmness that nobody else brings. Shaw can go and play left centre back, no problem. Malacia is a young kid who has great attributes because he's aggressive and runs around like a pit bull and like a terrier, and has had some good games. But also we've seen him, what was it, against Seville at home, just defensively not aware. We saw him get ripped off against Ammonia, him and Sancho, at half-time. Like we saw him get cooked at, not the 6-3, he didn't play in that one. He played well in the home leg. Listen, Malacia's done really well, by the way. But you cannot say the point day he's better than Shaw.
Yeah,
no
he
chance.
said that he's better than Shaw. And also the response there was also sort of suggesting it didn't. Again, the initial point that we're getting away from is that you said that, or Tyler said rather, that Malacia was a better defender than Shaw. And
and he's not.
It's not accurate. You could argue that Malacia's got a better work rate, a better engine in him, and maybe a bit more
he runs up and down.
Shaw.
But that don't mean you're better.
No, but in terms of better defender, no.
Sometimes Malacia's like a bottle of fizzy pop. Like he's just going crazy. Like he's just erratic. Like which is fine because he's young. And I think for a debut season, he's actually done quite well. He's playing some really big games for us and got big. He did play in the 6-3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did. Okay. So because Shaw went left centre back in the return leg, didn't he? In the home game. So I just think with Luke Shaw's just been amazing. Like I can't understand how you can think Luke Shaw is better than is not better than Malacia. and he's supposed to be better than Malacia, by the way. Right, okay, so City 6-3, Shaw. Liverpool 7-1, Shaw. Arsenal, Saka cooked him. Malacia against City, who also played in the 6-3-1 you're talking about.
And Malacia also played against Arsenal at home. And whilst we won that game, he did struggle against Bukayo Saka. In that game.
He didn't pocket Saka at all. What are you talking about? Saka scored in that game. What are you talking about? Mahrez and Salah. Shaw is better. Malacia better 1v1. Oh, but so you're saying... So you never said that at the start.
And also, we're going down this route of, like, basically, so every time we've lost in those games, it's because Luke Shaw played. Like,
yeah. When the whole team capitulated.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't even... What did you say? You said Malacia is a much better defender than Shaw. And Shaw's only better going forward than him. I'm telling you, in my opinion, that Luke Shaw is a better whole player than Malacia.
He is.
Not better at it. He's supposed to be. And that's okay. And Malacia is up and coming and he's good. But let's not act like Malacia is wicked and we have to keep playing. So who do you want to start then? Who do you want to be our starting left back? Do you want Malacia to be the starting left back because he's better than him then? Nah.
And also, if Malacia were in those big defeats, like, put it this way, if Malacia started at left back against Liverpool, we'd have still lost 7-0.
Exactly.
It wasn't a Luke Shaw thing. It was a team thing.
There you go. But big up though, Tyler. Big up for coming through, man. Everyone's voices will always be heard. We're never
all about the debate.
Their opinions. All about the debate. So we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Like I said, preview and match day as well. Take care, guys. Peace.